Finally, it's here. The first ever episode of Meghan Markle's long-awaited, highly anticipated Spotify podcast. And let me tell you, it was well worth months of waiting. It did not disappoint. You think you know Meghan Markle, eh? You think you really know her? Well, why don't you just take a step back, listen, open up your ears, yeah, and educate yourself. We're only going to look at the first 4 minutes of her hour and a bit long podcast in today's video. But those 4 minutes were enough for me to say, hey, I had it all wrong. All of my preconceptions about Meghan Markle shattered, crumbled within those first 4 minutes. She's so authentic. How can it be that she can be so down to earth, a woman of the people, you know, real salt of the earth? This incredible woman who's got her ear to the ground, you know, her finger on the pulse of the zeitgeist, you know, the feeling of the times. Yet at the same time, she managed to forge a career in Hollywood and marry into the royal family until they kicked her out because she was black. Anyway, like I said, we're only going to focus on the first 4 minutes of the opening episode of this podcast by Meghan Markle, known as Archetypes. It's on Spotify if you want to look at the rest of the episode. But I think in this opening 4 minutes, we get a real sense, you know, you get a real flavour of what you're in store for if you're going to become a regular viewer. You're going to tune in on a regular basis to listen to Meghan Markle's musings. So without further ado, I will not delay you anymore. Let's get into the podcast. I see you shiver with anticipation.
When I was 11 years old, growing up in LA.
Sorry to stop it that quickly, but ASMR. When I was 11 years old and I was living out in LA.
I saw a commercial that would change the way I understood my place in the world. Let me be clear. It wasn't because this ad was some kind of ingenious piece of marketing. Actually, it was just the opposite. So here's what happened. I was in the 6th grade. I'm sitting in my classroom and we were watching TV when a commercial came on.
You were in 6th grade in the classroom watching TV and a commercial came on. So it wasn't that you were watching a video, but a commercial, an advert came on. So you were just watching TV in the classroom. I guess it could happen. It definitely happened, this story, didn't it?
The gloves are coming off. Women are fighting greasy pots and pans with ivory clear.
I was furious. Women? Did I really just hear that guy say just women as in only women? Only women. Women are the only ones who wash dishes. And then I heard them. These 2 boys in my class breathing life into my biggest fear. They said, yeah, that's where women belong, in the kitchen.
I mean, it's not where I expected this podcast to start, but, they're watching TV in the classroom and an advert comes on, a commercial comes on, right? And it's about a cleaning product and they say women are fighting greasy pots and pans, right? And she was furious. She says that was her biggest fear, right? These 2 boys then started saying, yeah, that's the place for women, in their kitchen. And this is in 1993. I mean, would a 10-year-old in 1993 say something? I mean, I don't want to be a cynic. I really don't, Meghan, but it just doesn't add up.
Oh man, this did not sit well with 11-year-old me.
They knew it hurt my feelings. It makes me feel like they're gonna grow up thinking that girls are less than them.
Yeah, in case you couldn't tell, that's me.
I don't know. On the one hand, it is wholly plausible. I mean, that is the kind of 11-year-old I imagine you would have been. I'm afraid I'm going to have to dig a little deeper, though.
My name's Meghan Markle. I'm 12 years old.
Nick News.
I hate my wimpy toilet bowl cleaner.
Commercials, they do say a lot of things that most people don't even notice.
Shut up, little girl.
Mostly like laundry and dishwashing commercials.
The gloves are coming off. Women are fighting greasy pots and pans with ivory clear.
Simpler times, eh?
When we first saw the commercial, I knew something would be done because I was furious.
Isn't that amazing that the cameras were there just at the moment that she felt that fury pulsating through her veins?
Women are fighting greasy pots and pans with
And I
ivory
said, wait a minute, how could somebody say that? I think I'll write a letter.
Clever girl.
The president of Procter & Gamble, Procter & Gamble Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Dear Sir, last week at my school, we decided to watch the news for social studies. While through the channels, we saw a commercial for the new Ivory Clear dishwashing liquid.
Now, you all think that our society, that our culture is crumbling just over the last 5, 6, maybe 10 years since the boom of social media. Maybe that's exacerbated it a little bit, no? But the truth of the matter is, this has been decades in the making. Back in 1993, she was in a social studies class, an 11-year-old, flicking through the TV, looking for things to get them triggered, right? And they planted these sleeper agents in our society and in our pop culture. People like Meghan Markle, she was already in acting classes, right? And they got her to infiltrate the royal family. And they call the movement woke because they're waking up now, 30 years later, the sleeper agents.
In the commercial, they said women are battling grease, meaning only women do dishes. When I heard this, the boys in my class started saying, yeah, that's where women belong, in the kitchen.
Based.
I really don't think it was very nice for the boys to say it.
They knew it hurt my feelings.
I know now why you cry. But it's something I can never do.
It makes me feel like they're gonna grow up thinking that girls are less than them. You know, like boys are better than girls.
No, 1,000 times no.
So I was wondering if you would be able to change your commercial to people all over America.
We like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind, because it's more inclusive.
There we go.
Thank you, Meghan Markle.
3 months after Meghan wrote to the president of the company, Procter & Gamble changed the commercial. Listen.
The gloves are coming off. People are fighting greasy pots and pans with ivory clear.
Yeah, they changed the word. Still all broads. And find a guy to throw his marigolds out the window, could they? Not back in 1993. Simpler times.
If you see something that you don't like or are offended by on television or any other place, write letters and send them to the right people, and you can really make a difference for not just yourself, but lots of other people.
Yeah, that's something she still does to this day. She writes a lot of letters, Meghan Markle. Oftentimes, she writes so many letters that she loses track of what she said and to whom she said it and what she's given permission for people to publish about her and that kind of thing. Is that a bit too deep? Do people not remember that scandal? No. She loves writing letters.
From 1993 on Nick News.
I don't think it's right for kids to grow up thinking these things, that just mom does everything.
When I'd seen the ad for Ivory Clear dishwashing liquid, and when I heard those boys and their idea for what my future might hold, I knew something was just wrong.
Yeah, those 11-year-old boys who definitely said that, and them saying that, as they did, because this definitely happened, would absolutely have affected your future if you'd have let it affect you.
And I knew I had to do something about it, so I went on what you might call a letter writing campaign. I really like to write letters.
Yeah, we know.
And I reached out to some of the most powerful people I could think of at the time, which was First Lady Hillary Clinton, attorney Gloria Allred, and Linda Ellerby, who hosted my preferred news source as an 11-year-old, Nick News W5. But I didn't stop there. I also reached out to the soap manufacturer, the very people who made the commercial.
The president of Procter & Gamble, Procter & Gamble Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Dear Sir.
And I explained the whole thing, the classroom, the boys, and then my ask.
So I was wondering if you would be able to change your commercial to people all over America.
We like to say people kind.
Thank you, Meghan Markle.
And would you believe it? 3 months later, a new version of the ad appeared on TVs all around the country.
The gloves are coming off. People are fighting greasy pots and pans with ivory clear.
They changed the language in the ad from women to people. Now, I could paint this as a moment of triumph. And don't get me wrong, it was.
Oh shit, I nearly got you wrong there. There was a bit of humility. There was a little bit of a lack of pride for something that you kind of achieved. Probably wasn't really anything to do with you. Publicity stunt thing that happened when you were 11. Reaching back to more glorious times.
It's because I learned that my one small action could have a ripple effect.
You know, this is so inspiring for all sort of young people who don't have the same opportunities as Meghan and her kids are going to have. You know, it's so inspiring to think that all you've got to do if you want to affect change in the world is write to the First Lady of the United States and to, I don't know, massive corporations, and they'll just come to your school and they'll do like a photo opportunity. And if you're kind of good at acting, they'll make you feel like you did something. You know, they'll change a word in an advert or something. So that is how, that's the ripple effect. That's like, if you want to, I mean, if you're not inspired by that, then what can I say?
Far beyond me. But this experience was also something bigger. An awakening.
I told you. Don't say I didn't warn you. An awakening, eh? Yeah, waking up from what? KGB hypnosis?
To the millions of ways, big and small, that our society tries to box women in, to hold women back, to tell women who and what they should and can be.
Yeah, I mean, I had a similar awakening, you know, about how women are sort of forced into, to fit into certain societal roles when I heard about Malala Yousafzai getting shot in the head by the Taliban. That kind of, I had a similar kind of awakening. I was like, you know, God, the plight of women in some parts of the world, it's absolutely awful what happens to them. I guess that's where Meghan's coming from here when she saw that dishwasher advert, you know. That women should be like washing plates and stuff at home. I mean, it's like Malala. It's like when Malala got shot by the Taliban. It's the same kind of, it's different, but it's kind of the same, isn't it? Kind of an awakening. It's a consciousness raiser in many ways.
I've never lost touch with that reality. And in the last few years, my desire to do something about it has grown. My 11-year-old voice has also gotten a little more confident, maybe a little louder.
Yet it really still is essentially an 11-year-old voice. You know, the ideas are basically the same as the ones you had in 1993, you know. That idea that, you know, the world's against you and you're a victim and everything's terrible, being a Hollywood actress, an ex-Hollywood actress and marrying a prince. I mean, it's just been one long bloody nightmare for you, Meghan.
If you see something that you don't like or are offended by on television or any other place, write letters and send them to the right people, and you can really make a difference for not just yourself, but lots of other people.
Yeah, you could land yourself an exclusive podcast deal with Spotify or a Netflix series.
She's right.
Well, there you have it. I mean, it sounds like a radio program from GTA. It's not. It's Meghan Markle's reality, her lived experiences, and it sounds glorious. I will get round to listening to the whole podcast, but obviously I can't publish it on YouTube. They wouldn't let me do that, would they? God knows if they're even going to let me leave this one up. We'll find out, I guess. See you in the next one.